Good morning, yogis. This is the first of my Thursday morning slow flow classes. The idea with these is a nice pre-work hour, gentle stretching, gentle strengthening, lots of nice breathing, just to set you up to have a really lovely day with nothing too challenging, nothing that's a bit too much in the morning. So it's accessible to everyone. Even if you're a bit more of an established practitioner, there's always something to be found in just trying to open the joints, feel into the body more, get more present with the breath. So sometimes when we're doing a bit less with the body, we can do a bit more with the mind and with the breath. So with that said, and being as this is a start of things, I'll just mention about the seat. So I'd like to start off the class sitting on a block. Now, a lot of us can get the knees down or out in a seated position, and that's fine. But we really do want to feel like the knees are beneath the hips. And for a lot of us, that isn't so easy. So we take a block. It could be on the low setting or the medium setting. Get that beneath the sitting bones. And see up on the higher thing here, the bones of the pelvis resting on the top of the block, just tipping over the front maybe. And I can feel the body lengthening up and away. Crown of the head lifting. And these hips feeling relaxed, these legs feeling heavy on the floor rather than too tense like this. So for some of us, we might even come up on a few blocks or a chair, and that's totally okay. So we want to just start teaching these hips to open out a little bit more wherever we're at. And this feeling of the spine growing really tall, really easy, really proud. The head, the weight of the head, because it's so heavy for a body part, centered over the sacrum, over the base of the spine. So maybe that's a lot of information, but try to forget the words and just feel into it. Heavy legs, the light head, the weight, even front, back, left, right. And if you haven't done so, let's close down the eyes, soften the gaze. And let's just start saying hello to this lovely body, this lovely mind that we're so fortunate to inhabit. Maybe we're doing a little body scan and we're just drawing the attention from the points of contact with the earth, with the feet and the knees, the shins, through the pelvis, the buttocks. We're bringing that attention up the body, checking in with the ribs and the tummy. How does the tummy feel this morning? Maybe we're hungry, or maybe we're feeling very light, we haven't eaten or had a nice breakfast. Whatever it is, let it go. Just notice. And coming up to the heart, the chest. And here we have the collarbones at the front and the shoulders, and the side going round to the back. And this is a very complicated area of the body that permits all the wonderful movements we can do with our arms. And it's often very tight, especially as most of us, we're at the desk, we're in the car, we're on the couch. And, the human body was evolved to mainly walk around quite a lot. And most of us don't walk 10, 20 kilometers a day. So we're always fighting a little bit against what the biomechanics have evolved to do in our sedentary modern lives. And again, that's okay. Don't be surprised though if we find a little bit of achiness, a little bit of stiffness here. And this interface between spine and shoulders, neck, ribs. And then of course, We can track the attention up the back of the neck and the head. Maybe just see how the neck feels. Is there some tension there? And then let's think about our face for a moment. And I don't know what it's like for you. For me, as soon as I start paying attention to my face, I find that there's all sorts of tensions. I like to smile a lot, and often my cheek muscles are a little bit tense from smiling. Also, I frown too much. Too much. I do frown a lot, and so often there's tension here in the brow, and it's incredibly common to have some tension at the back of the jaw. Again, not putting any judgment on the state of the body right now, but noticing it. We're going to take a big breath in now. And as we breathe in, see if we can engage the tummy muscles a little bit and really expand the ribs. Let's bring our hands to the rib cage. My thumbs are going around the back of the body. My fingers are coming around the front of the rib cage. I'm going to settle the shoulders back. And again, gently engaging my tummy, just drawing it in a little bit, 10%. I'm going to try and inflate the rib cage and leaving the tummy just mildly drawing in. Maybe you can feel, let's breathe out, feel the ribs moving into the hands. The ribs moving apart and contracting together again. See if, and you maybe not, see if you could get the back ribs to open a little more than the front ribs. And maybe you can feel the shoulder blades lifting and separating a little as we use these subtle muscular contractions to choose which bits of the body move with the breath. Really, one of the most fascinating aspects of yoga is this control we start to develop, contracting certain muscles, relaxing certain muscles, to really sort of affect the shape of the body with the breath, even to the point of internal massage. It's really fascinating stuff. If you're not really feeling it, though, don't worry about it. If it's interesting and you can't feel about it, it will come. Let's let go of those hands, resting them on the knees. Big breath in. Gentle sigh out. Open the mouth. One more. We're going to do a short pranayama practice. Pranayama is it's more breath control stuff. It's a series or a palette of techniques that are some of the oldest written down practical yoga. And it's just like we were talking about, it's using conscious attention and muscles to control the breath. This is a very simple one, Nadi Shodhana, and it's alternate nostril breathing. Some of you might have seen Stephen Fry on QI many years ago talking about the science behind alternate nostril breathing and how it stimulates one side or the other of the brain and associated faculties. So this is something that's many hundreds of years old yogic teaching, but is really backed up by science as having quite interesting effects on the brain. So that aside, how do we perform this technique? Well, we're going to take the first two fingers and they're going to rest just above the eyebrows in the middle of the forehead. We're going to spread out thumb and the little finger And what we do is we use either the little finger or the thumb to close one or other nostril. Pretty straightforward. And the way it goes is you breathe in one nostril, breathe out the other nostril, breathe in through that nostril, and then breathe out through the other one. You'll get into the rhythm of it. I'll talk us through it. So bringing the two fingers to the third eye, the middle of the forehead. We're going to use the thumb, close up that right nostril, and we're going to breathe in through the left nostril. When you've completed your inhale, seal the left nostril with the little finger, open the right nostril, and breathe out. Breathe in through the right nostril. Seal it, and breathe out through the left nostril. Breathe in left. Seal that nostril. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. Close it up. And breathe out the left. In left. Close it. Out right. In through the right. Close it up. Breathe it out through the left. Now keep going at your own pace. So you might want to slow it down a little bit. Remember, we breathe in through the one we just breathed out through. And then we change sides. If you're more experienced in this practice, feel free to add either a count of maybe 4 or 6, or to add a small hold between each inhale and exhale. Couple more rounds. And next time you breathe out the left nostril, just relax that right hand back down to the thigh. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Gentle sigh out through the mouth. And just see if there's any change in how the body feels as a result of that practice. We're going to leave sitting and pranayama for now, and we're going to come to start moving. So first, if you are sitting up on the block, take it out to the side and find a comfortable seat with the buttocks resting on the ground. Fingertips out to the side. Inhale it up and exhale it down. Just moving those shoulders with the breath, inhaling up. Very nice and tall. And exhaling down. So we've been sitting still for a while, so we're going to start off nice and slow. Inhale up this time. As we breathe out, we're going to twist to the right. Left hand coming to the right knee. Right, fingertips behind, and we're inhaling up. We're looking over that right shoulder. Inhaling again to lengthen the spine. As we exhale, see if we can drop the shoulders a bit more. And there's a bit more twist. Next inhale, gently rising back to the center. Exhaling, twisting to the left. Again, those right fingers might reach the thigh. They might reach just past the knee. If they do, you can try turning that hand the other way up. See what that feels like. Inhale to grow a little taller. And again, exhale, dropping those shoulders, maybe finding a little bit more depth in your twist. The next inhale brings you back to center, the arms up, and we're going to go to side bends. The slight bending to the right hand comes down to support us. Inhale that left hand up and over. Root the shoulders. Now, find your depth. For some people with a very flexible spine, the forearm might come to the mat, and if so, that's okay. But if we end up in a big slump or the back is uncomfortable, let's just come back a little bit and have patience. Advanced thinking is, could I take my hand off the floor? So rather than the elbow and the hand taking all the weight, we try to get the tummy to do the work. It might not be ready. We're asking the questions. Inhale ourselves back to the center, and now we're bending to the left. Left hand down. Inhaling up and over, bending that left elbow. Maybe the forearm comes down. Maybe it doesn't. Exhale, maybe there's a little bit more depth. Inhale, we're lifting up. Exhaling back to the other side. Inhale it on. Exhale. Inhale, lifting from the tummy as much as we can. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling up to center. Exhaling those hands down. We come to a seated cat-cow now. Turn side onto you so you can see a bit more what's going on with the spine. So in this movement, fingertips on the knees, rolling the shoulder blades back, inhaling, opening the heart, opening the chest here, bending, moving from the bottom of the spine, and then as we exhale, rounding. So we want to make a big capital C shape here. Inhale it forwards, open the heart, maybe lift the gaze a little bit, but try not to throw the head back and compress the neck. A nice happy neck. Exhale it back, empty the body, belly button comes back towards the spine. Inhale it forwards. If you want to pick up the pace a little bit, if you're feeling good, absolutely go for that. And we've all got different bodies, different ages, and the body moves differently in each one of us. So finding a movement level that's working for you. And let's bring an element of play into this. Keep going, but maybe you're going to twist a little bit as you come forwards. Look over one shoulder. Exhaling back nice and deep. Inhale forwards. Maybe a hand might lift up. So you can look at me for inspiration if you want, or just do whatever feels nice. Maybe there's a circling movement, as if you're grinding spices, the pestle and mortar. I think I called this in my teacher training. Milling something. And again, tune in to the weight and the interaction of the weight and the floor and your balance. Nice. Okay, come to stillness, and we're going to come onto the back. So I'm just going to adjust my battery pack so that I don't roll on it. And we're going to put the soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to get the soles of the feet on the floor, and we're gently lowering the spine down onto the mat. We're going to come to some rolling on the spine. It's beautiful self-massage practice. So let's pick those knees up, and let's start perhaps the knees just gently apart, and we're rolling across the base of the pelvis, across the lower back. You'll notice here that my shoulders are staying completely still, and my head and neck are completely still. my hands out wide for balance in a capital T shape. And by restricting the movement to the lower half like this, we're also starting to wake up our deep core muscles in the abdomen. Now, if it feels like the tummy is bulging out, draw the knees in a little bit more, and that makes it more gentle. If you feel like you can keep the shoulders nicely rooted on the mat, make the movement a little bit bigger. At some point, you'll find the shoulders want to lift, and that's your edge of abdominal strength for now. And try to sit just behind that, and then we will build the muscles in the tummy rather than overworking the back and risking irritating the back, which is exactly what 100% of yoga practitioners are not looking for. Everyone comes to yoga looking for a happier back, especially to start with. And a big part of finding that happy lower back is really strong abdominal muscles, pelvic floor muscles, diaphragm that can support the spine while we're sitting. Wonderful. Next time you come back to the middle, find those feet back on the floor, and we're going to come to our supine pigeon. So I'm going to pick up my right leg, cross it over my left thigh, and come to the tips of the toes and lift up that left foot, drawing the leg in towards me. And I'm going to take a hold, either the back of the thigh here, or if I can reach, I'm going to grab around the front of the shin. A lot of this is simply anatomy. We have different arm lengths. What we do want is for the sacrum, the pelvis to be rooted in the floor nice and heavy. If we're rolling up off the floor to bring the leg in, no, we've lost it. Come back to the thigh. That's where you're meant to be right now. A little roll across the base of the spine again. And what I want to introduce to you is this elbow. So the elbow of the crossed leg can push against the inner thigh. So my right elbow is pushing against my right inner thigh. And my right foot is flexed. The toes are drawing back towards the knee. Really active feet. Both feet are really active. This helps protect the knee joints. When we've got this hold, inhale, push the left leg into the hands. Exhale, use the arms to draw that left knee in. Draw it in really nice and firmly. Look out for any discomfort in the knee. It should be protected by having those feet active. Release the tension, an easy breath. And inhale, pushing that left shin or thigh into the hands. Exhaling, using the fingers, using the hands to draw that left thigh in towards the body. Brilliant. Once more. So we're going to inhale the shin or thigh into the hands, stretching it away. Maybe it's a little bit bigger now. Exhale, draw that leg in. Lovely. Just before we put the leg down, let's give both of those ankles a good old rotate and a flex. Work that feet fascia. Awesome. Gently let go of that left leg. Uncross the legs. Give them a little shake. Right foot down. Cross that left leg over. Toes of the right foot. And we're drawing it in. Drawing it in there. So, okay. You might lift up the chest to grab hold. That's okay. But if I come down and I'm rolling the base of the bum, the base of the spine off the floor, back it off a bit. The back wants to be disconnected from this movement as we stretch the thighs and the hip muscles. So when we're ready, again, we're finding that left elbow now inside the left thigh, gently drawing the knee away, and we're activating our feet. So toes are drawing back towards the knees. And as we inhale, drawing that shin away, pushing it away, resisting with the hands, exhaling, using the hands to draw it in. Inhale, push it away. Exhale, drawing it in. Once more. Inhale that right shin away, a little bit bigger. Exhale, really nice and strong here, but don't lift up the spine. Don't lift up the sacrum. Relax. Wiggle the feet. Rotations both ways. Scrunch the toes, unscrunch the toes. Uncross the legs and a little dead bug asana. Give those feet a little shake. Those hands and those fingers a little shake. Again, these little joints are asked to do an awful lot in yoga, in our work. They're often not treated to very much care. So let's give our wrists, ankles, fingers and toes some love. And now we will come to a little bit of core work. As I said, if we're trying to rebuild the body so that the back doesn't hurt, so that our posture is nice, it's these often underdeveloped deep core muscles we need to strengthen. So we're going to do a couple of leg raises. My soles of the feet are on the floor. The backs of the hands are on the floor. The shoulders are spread into the mat. And rock the pelvis a couple of times. So you should be able to feel the lumbar curve come. And then rocking it back so the whole spine lays itself flat on the mat. Now, where exactly the spine is not that important. You could definitely have a little lumbar curve here. What we're looking to avoid here is if we can't hold it with the tummy will bulge forwards and we'll start to feel the lower back get involved in this movement and perhaps be a little unhappy, even a little tweaky, if it's already grumpy. That's what we don't want to avoid. So I think if you flatten the spine as a starting point, you're less likely to go into that shape. I want you to root the left foot down. So I'm pushing the foot into the floor quite actively. I'm using that to tip the pelvis back, flatten the base of the spine into the mat. My shoulders, as I said, are nice and relaxed. And then let's pick up that right leg. So we're going to find our level. We'll start with a bent knee. Maybe we'll pick it up until the shin is parallel with the floor, and then we'll let it go. And when I'm making this movement, all of the movement is coming in the front of the hips. So everything else is still, and the heel is just describing this arc down to the ground. And all of that is coming here from the tummy, from the hip flexors. If it's too much, the psoas major, this big old muscle that's connected to loads of the vertebrae, starts getting involved, but it wasn't designed to do it. And it gets really, really grumpy. And then we get lower back pain, one of the causes of lower back pain. Now, obviously, for some of you, that's going to be quite easy, in which case, of course, we're going to be sending the heel skyward. And again, left foot is active. Belly, I can feel the lower belly engaging here. Shoulders are heavy. Face is relaxed. So I'm not gritting. Inhale the leg up. Exhale it down. Don't quite touch down. Just hover the heel. Inhale it up. If it's too difficult, we're bending the knee. But again, try not to touch down now. Keep the action smooth. Don't let the tummy come up off the mat. If the lower back is in any way even slightly grumpy, bend the knee more, make the movement smaller. Next week, you'll be able to make it bigger because it'll strengthen the correct muscles. If the leg is still too easy, you can add on by straightening the other leg. Really make sure you're still pushing that heel into the ground to get the core switched on and engaged. So either knee bent, both knees bent, or we're one knee bent, or we're both legs straight. Inhaling it up, exhaling it down. Very nice. Wherever you are, let's find both feet back on the mat, a little wiggle across the lower spine, and we're going to come to the other side. So wherever we found our level, we're going to try and stick with the same level if the body permits. So it's either shin parallel, heel to the ground, leg long, or both legs long. Find your level, choose your level, I think we probably did about 10, didn't we? So let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, nearly there, 2, last one, and down, back up, complete the movement, and then plant the soles of the feet. Big breath in, big breath out. Well done. So our second strengthening move before we get up off the floor is going to be our bridge. This move is found in every discipline. It's such an accessible core strengthening move. Nonetheless, despite its apparent simplicity, we can still overdo the lower back. So I'm going to try to share some of the insights I've gleaned into not overtaxing the lower back. So first, again, it's that roll of the pelvis. So lower back coming up off the floor, lower back planting into the floor. And we're going to want to start with the back planted into the floor. So pushing the feet away from me, feeling like I'm sliding the feet away from me, using that action to flatten the top of the pelvis and the bottom of the back into the mat. Again, the hands are going to be face up, spreading out, and we're going to use that direction of the feet sliding away. So imagine that the big toes are both going to slide into a big boot, and the shoulders are going to stay totally rooted. So I'm sliding the feet away. As I slide the feet away, I'm opening here at the hip, opening here at the hip. I'm coming, rolling onto the shoulder blades. And notice if the knees have gone really out wide or really together. Imagine a yoga block is in between the thighs. In fact, let me show you it like that. If you happen to have a yoga block or a rolled up towel, pop it between the thighs, right up near the top of the legs. Set yourself back down and we'll lift up again if you're using the prop. Or if not, let's go. So again, we're flattening the back by using the action of the toes, pushing away, the soles of the feet pushing down. The thighs are hugging the block. And as I try to slide the feet away, shoulders root into the mat, and we open up. Try to control the ribs. Tummy's working hard. The buttocks are about sort of half engaged. Squeezing that block, sliding the feet away, and see how that feels. Is the lower back protesting? It's a very common move to feel the lower back unhappy in. If so, see if we can just get a bit more of that action through the feet, knees going away from you, and trying to draw the pelvis through and up, lifting out, tummy strong, in, ribs in. We're going to come down in a minute. We're going to come down in a beautiful, fluid movement. Exhaling, one vertebra at a time, rolling it out, rolling it down onto the mat, finding the sacrum landing on the mat, and a little wiggle there in case any tension crept in. And we're going to lift up a bit more quickly and take 5 repetitions. Maybe the feet want to step in a little bit. If that feels good, go for it. So again, backs of the hands down, feet going away, shoulders are planted. Let's go. Inhaling, rolling the pelvis up, knees away, back getting longer and longer and longer. Squeeze the block, or imagine you're squeezing a block if you're not using one. Exhale, roll it down. Ready to go again, straight away. Inhale, energy through the toes. Long, 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 long. Exhale, roll it down with control. 3 more. Inhaling it up. Hug the block, squeeze the block. Open the heart. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale it up. Strong feet, strong thighs. Come on, you've got this. Roll it down. Last one. Inhale it up. Really squeeze the life out of the block. Maybe you can open up a little bit more. And let's exhale down to the mat. Pick up the feet. Open the knees a little bit and just roll across the back body. Maybe now we bring the head and the shoulders into this movement, massaging out the flesh on the back of the head. It's a really beautiful self-massage practice and this playful, childlike movement. Beautiful winning combination. Okay. When you're ready, roll over to one side. And we're going to take a little modified half moon pose. So we're going to come onto our all fours, like so. And then turning the left toes out. So I'm rotating that left foot out. I'll send the right toes back and turn onto the side of the foot. Weights in both hands. And I'm transferring the weight to the left hand. I'm opening that right hand to the ceiling. Exhale that hand down and tuck it under the left armpit, curling in. Inhale it up. You should be able to feel the tummy working. If the wrist is unhappy, you might be able to come down to the forearm. Exhaling, we're diving that arm under. Inhaling up. And let's hold. And maybe the more adventurous of you might center the weight over that knee. And maybe that foot would lift off on an inhale. Opening the hips. Glutes are working really hard here. Exhale, lower the foot down. Don't worry if you fall over. Inhale it up. Exhale that foot down. Building inner thigh strength, pelvic floor strength. Inhale it up. Bend the knee. Maybe. Exhale, catch that toe. And inhale, we're pushing the foot into the hand. Again, just play. Don't worry if you roll out. If you can't reach the foot, we can stay here. Or we could be here. That's totally fine. If we've got the foot, see if we can use the action of kicking the foot into the hand to just draw the shoulder back, open the heart a little bit more. Awesome. If you've got the foot, let it go. Hand floats up, foot floats back down, and we roll over, come back to our all fours, and have a little wiggle. We're going to come to the other side. I'm going to adjust my battery pack again. Now we're not lying on our backs. Awesome. So we went right leg back. We're going to go left leg back this time. So on all fours, hands are nice and spread out. And this time the right toes turn out. I'm going to show you from the other angle. The right toes turn out. The left leg goes long. Weight is in the right hand. And we open it out. And there's our modified side moon, half moon pose there. A nice breath to steady. The gaze could be looking forwards. You could try turning the gaze up to the fingers, testing the balance a little bit more. But if the neck doesn't like that, we're just fine looking straight forwards or looking down at the ground. When you're ready, exhaling and we're dipping that arm under again. Inhaling up. I'm pushing off the toes of the right foot to help turn the muscles on all through the leg and the tummy. That's helping me balance. One more of these. Inhale that. Left hand up high. Exhale, thread it under the right armpit. Inhale back to our starting position. And if you played with lifting the leg, Let's lift that left leg up off the floor. Maybe there's a couple of little sideways leg raises here. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's have one more of those for luck. Inhale that up. And if you played with grabbing that foot, let's do so again. Whatever we did last time, we generally try to balance it out. Pushing the foot into the hand, opening the shoulder, opening the chest, feeling really lovely and long. And then exhale, try to gently release the foot. Return to our starting position. On an exhale, we bring the hands together at the front of the mat. Tuck the toes, we're in our tabletop position, and we'll take a couple of rounds of cat-cow here. So just inhale, open the chest, stick the bum up. Exhale, pushing off the toes, arching the back. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling, and we're going to transfer to our downward dog. So energy through the hands. Exhale, bum back towards the heels. Inhale, strong through the feet. Extend the legs. Now we don't need to look for a really straight leg here. We don't need to look for the heels on the ground. You know, it all looks very nice in a photo. Most of our bodies, that's not going to be the best option for us. What I want you to think about is the ears being framed by the upper arms, the neck feeling long and happy, and maximizing distance between fingers and the hips and the heels and the hips. As the legs grow longer, maybe the knees extend a little bit, maybe the heels drop as a result of that. But seek comfort here. This is like our home as yoga practitioners, the downward dog. But pedal the feet a little bit, raise one heel and then the other, straightening one leg and then the other, walking the dog. And we're going to come to the front of our mat, and we're going to do that with a little twisty walk. So I'm going to twist the heels from side to side, wiggling the bum as I take these very small steps, maybe 12 steps or so, reaching the front of the mat. When I reach a comfortable distance, the knees are very soft, and I let the head go. The head's hanging heavy. And let's call this a chest to thighs pose rather than a front fold. So I'm not going to worry about how low I am. I want to feel the body resting heavy on the legs. And then bringing the attention to the feet. And if the feet had four corners, they would be at the base of the little and the big toe and either side of the heel. And I want to feel the weight spreading equally across all four corners of both feet. On inhale, draw the stomach in and lift from the stomach. Knees are very soft. Head is very heavy. As we finish our inhale, we're rolling up the spine, growing really tall, and the hands are circling out, reaching above the head. Exhale the hands to the heart, and then down to the sides, opening out. Tadasana, mountain pose. This is another one of our homes in the yoga movement practice. We've got our standing home, our hands and feet on the floor home, and our child's pose when we need to rest. I'm going to practice a very gentle Surya Namaskar now. Surya Namaskar is a salute to the sun, and it forms the core of most of the kind of activity-based yogas. So it goes like this. Inhale, maybe there's a little bend in the knees. As we exhale, drop the knees, send the bum back, and we roll down to our forward fold. And we inhale, and when we inhale, we want to find a flat back here, nice curve in the lower spine. So that might mean the knees are bent and the fingertips are on the floor. It might mean the fingertips are on the calves. We've all got different limb ratios. It's quite hard for me to, I suppose I can, but it's a long way down. So that's our half front fold, our Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees until we can get the hands on the floor, and then we'll step one leg back, and the other to find a plank shape. Drop the knees down, and then bending the elbows towards us. We're going to bring the chest down to the ground, untuck the toes, and we're going to take a little back bend here. It's going to be a very small back bend. Move the hands a little wider than your shoulders. Tuck the chin in. Inhale, push the feet into the mat, push the hands into the mat. Just open the body up a little bit. Exhale it back down. The other key guide here is to try to push the hips into the mat. So pushing the hips, the feet and the hands into the mat. Inhale. And the head comes up last as we unroll the neck. And we exhale it back down. We're going to take one more little baby back bend. Maybe the hands come to the fingertips. There's a little bit more lift there. Exhale, roll the spine back onto the mat. Plant the hands next to the rib cage. Tuck the toes. Inhale, and as we exhale, squeezing the elbows in, we're sending the bum back to the heels. Inhaling up, and we're back to our downward dog. Pedal out the feet a little bit. Look between the hands on an inhale, and as you exhale, we're walking it forwards. Finding our forwards fold here. Centering the weight over the feet, bending the knees. Inhaling, rolling up. Beautiful. We're going to add something to this now. We're going to inhale the hands up once more. Exhale, we're folding forwards. Inhaling our half lift. Exhaling, placing the hands on the floor. And this time, right leg steps back. The knee goes down, and we find ourselves in a small lunge here. This might be too much on the knee. Try pushing the toes into the mat more. If it's still too much, you can fold the mat over, or I just like to get a blanket or a towel under there, and that's fine. Be nice to yourself. So pad the knee if it needs padding, and we're in our lunge here. What we don't want to do is collapse. Sometimes we have to bring the pelvis forward. But right now we want a straight front leg. We want a happy back, nice and tall. And this front of the thigh is getting a good stretch. So it doesn't feel like anything's happening. Wiggle these toes forwards. Lean into it a little bit more. If it's a bit too much here, bring that front foot in. And let's inhale the hands up. And this is our crescent lunge. Anjaneyasana, our heart lunge. Exhale. Frame the front foot with the fingers. Fingertips is good. Exhale, feet together. Child's pose. Inhale, bum high. Downward dog. Take a breath or two here. Maybe there's a wiggle, a sigh, a shake of the head. Anything that feels really great and relaxing. And we're going to inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, stepping the left leg forwards. Dropping the right knee to the mat. And again, our crescent lunge here. Opening it up. Opening up the thigh, finding our nice depth. Tummy strong. Pushing off the toe. Exhale, frame the foot. Lift the knee and try to step back to our front fold. The leg won't come. We can try to help the leg with the hands. Folding over. Centering the weight. Rolling up on the inhale. Exhaling the hands to the heart. Opening it up to Tadasana. Beautiful. Let's go for the next side. Inhale those hands up. Exhale, tummy's in. Bum goes back. Rolling down, soften the knees, drape the body over the thighs. Inhale, find our halfway lift. Exhale the hands down. Step that left foot back, knee down. Inhale up. That's our Anjaneyasana. Exhale the hands down. Step that foot back. Keep the toes tucked as we come to child's pose on the exhale. Inhale to our downward dog. And then we're stepping the right foot through And again, dropping the left knee, opening it up. Maybe you want to try opening the spine a bit more, that's fine. Stay really strong in your foundation. Exhale, fingertips down, back knee up, step it in, get that foot back to the front, flop it over, inhale, roll it up. Nice. A couple of variations we can do. There's infinite variations we can do. However time. Okay. We're going to take a couple more rounds. So just settle yourself down. Find your Tadasana. Close the eyes down. Maybe sigh out a big breath through the mouth. And let's investigate this Tadasana just a little bit more. So the feet often want to turn out, or we have a habit of leaning on one or the other. Mine want to turn out a bit generally. But the Tadasana, we usually want the second toe to be tracking forwards. And then there's a feeling of just drawing the heels together a little bit. Feel the buttocks switched on, the inner thighs switch on, and the whole legs feel strong and engaged. Maybe the tummy feels engaged. Then, top of the head, move the chin back a little bit, tuck the chin just slightly. And see if on the inhale we can grow taller without the ribs popping out. Whole body feels really nice. And then backs of the hands forward and rotate the palms out. Feel the shoulders come out a little bit. Really nice. Inhale the hands up above the head. Take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Side bending over to the right. Beautiful. Inhale it back to center. Change the hands over, circling one wrist with the other hand. Side bending out to the left. Inhale it back to center. And we'll take a couple more sun salutations. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, roll down. Hands find the floor. We give the head a little shake. Nod the head. Yes, shake the head. Inhale, find our halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands. Going to step back again to our high plank. Now 3 breaths in our high plank. If you need to drop the knees to the mat, go ahead and drop the knees to the mat. If you can stay in it, let's stay in our high plank for a few more breaths. And then when you're done, slow as you can, knees to the mat, and then all together, index fingers forwards, elbows are traveling back as we're pushing off the toes to come forwards. This is our half chaturanga, our half yoga push-up. As we come down to the mat, untuck the toes, leave the hands where they are, push the hips into the mat, push the tops of the feet into the mat, lift up the heart, our little back bend here. From here, can we bring the elbows under the shoulders to find our Sphinx pose? So again, if we are not conscious in this pose, it seems easy, and then we can overload the back because we fall into bad habits. So even though it's fairly simple, really concentrate on feeling the top of the pubic bone push into the mat, the feet pushing into the mat, the shoulders rooting down, maybe the feeling of the index fingers reaching away as the elbows draw in. It sounds oxymoronic, but maybe you get it. A couple more breaths here in this active Sphinx pose. And when you're ready, on an exhale, dragging the hands as if you're trying to pull yourself forwards, lengthen the spine, down onto the mat. Hands rooted by the side, toes are tucked. Ready? Exhale on the inhale, strong through the hands, bum back to the heels. Inhale up, downward dog. Wiggle it out. And I'm going to come to our 3-legged. So the right leg's going to go high. Now the temptation here is we want to go really high So we actually open the hips out to the side a little bit. We want the hips to be tracking forwards. And that might mean that we're more like this. And that's okay. We're not twisting the lower back, tiring the lower back out. Try to stay strong through the tummy and push that heel away as if you want to close a door behind you. When you're ready, inhale, exhale, bring the knee under the body, bringing the knee towards the nose. Maybe we can give the knee a little kiss. Then we're going to inhale that leg back, kick that door shut behind us, and we're stepping it through this time. So bend that knee, inhale it under the body, and we're going to try and get it down on the mat. Eventually we want to get it really nice and gentle. For now it might start here and we move it forwards. That's okay. We're in this lunge here, so runner's lunge. And make it a little bit longer. Inhale, again looking for this upright shin and the top of the head going that way. Neck soft, I'm on the fingertips. And I'm really pushing the feet and the toes into the ground and drawing the tummy in. From here, plant the left hand in the mat and we're going to open into a twist. So inhaling, right hand up. So watch out for the hips going off to the side. Ideally, the legs stay still as we open up inside the thigh. Don't worry though if we can't quite manage it. And if the leg's tired, just drop that back knee back down. No worries, we're still getting the same twist. Exhale that right hand back to frame the front foot. We're back on the fingertips. Lifting the back knee, inhaling. Exhaling back to our forward fold at the front of the mat. Inhaling it up. Exhaling hands through your heart. Tadasana. And our last sun salutation. Inhale those hands up. Exhale. Fold it forwards. Inhale to find our half lift. Looking for that flat back. Exhale the hands down. Step one foot back, then the other. And again, looking for that plank. Nice long line. And maybe we're dropping the knees. And that's okay. Staying in your high plank if you've got it in you. Drawing the tummy in, pushing the heels away. A couple more breaths here. Feeling that fire inside you. And then let's exhale the knees to the mat. And remember, we're going to draw those elbows so they're bending towards the knees. Exhaling, lowering with control. Laying the body down on the mat. Sliding back a little bit. I'm too far forwards. We'll come again to that active sphinx. So remember, pelvis pushes down and the feet push down. And that gives us the strength, the lift from the tummy, keeping the back nice and happy and yummy. We're in our sphinx again. The elbows under the shoulders. From our sphinx. Inhale, lift the tummy a bit more. Exhale, turn to look over the right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn towards the left shoulder. Feel the different muscles working. Inhale, center. And exhale, rolling the body back onto the mat. Hands are by the rib cage, toes are tucked. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, bum to the heels. Inhale, downward facing dog. We're ready for our three-legged dog. On the other side, lifting that left leg, sending it back, kicking that door shut. No thanks, mate. Kick the door shut. Don't worry about the height. Do worry about not twisting to the side. Happy back. Nice. Ready? Inhaling. Exhaling, we're curling the knee under the body. We're coming forwards, far forwards as we can. Exhaling, kicking that door shut. Just step it through this time. Inhale, exhale, drawing the tummy in, bringing that foot as far forward as we can, getting it down, shuffling it forwards a little bit more if we need to, and we're back to our runner's lunge. Left foot's forwards this time. I'll come around to face you guys. So in our runner's lunge, the body's really nice and long. We try to keep the hips level as much as we can, and we're on the fingertips. Gives us the space to lay the body on the thigh. And on an exhale, that right hand flattens. On an inhale, raise the left hand twisting and trying to keep the legs still. Again, dropping the knee to the mat if it's asking too much of us. Draw the tummy in to make more space. And then exhaling, left hand down. This time, step that left foot back to meet the right. I'm going to come back to our child's pose. Toes tucked. If you've got your block handy, let's get our block. Otherwise, hands on top of each other. And what we're going to try and do here is find the buttocks reaching the heels. So maybe we need to come up like this. Buttocks reaching the heels. Maybe we can untuck the toes, settle back onto the heels. Now, often when we put the head on the floor, the bum lifts up. And that's not what we want. We want the back to open. So if the bum is lifting up, we're going to prop the head up. So we might use our block, forehead on the block, or our two hands, forehead on the hands. Now, once we feel we're ready, we're nice and open here, maybe we can reduce the size of the prop. So we're really just flopped onto the heels, flopped onto the forehead. And again, we're going to try to control where our breath moves to. So try to breathe into the back ribs, just like we did at the beginning of class. So if we fill our tummy up, it will lift us off the legs. So try to breathe and open the shoulder blades. If we're comfortable and happy, send those arms long in front of you. If the head can come all the way to the mat without compromising, the bottom resting on the heels, go ahead and bring the head all the way down if you haven't already. Beautiful. We're going to walk ourselves back up to a kneeling position, kneeling on the heels. We're going to take a couple more seated postures. Just going to draw this curtain so you can see me. Excellent. So, from our kneeling position, let's plant the hands in front of us, and we're going to come up to our all fours. And we're going to see if we can bring the right knee forwards, leaning into the hands, and maybe it could go over, so we're crossing the legs. Let's give that a go. If we can cross the legs like this, flatten the feet, and send the bum towards the heels. There's a lovely stretch there. Don't worry about it, and maybe we can just get the knee to the mat there. And a little stretch, but we really want to try and cross those. Get this beautiful stretch down the left buttock, left thigh. And then maybe we can walk our hands back and the bum might land between the heels. There's a lot of us that won't be possible, and we're going to be sending the left leg out and just crossing the right leg over. So we might end up looking like this, or we might be on our journey to looking more like this, Wherever we are, just accepting that the body can change. We just need practice. So settling in, maybe we've got this leg nice and long. This is Gomukhasana, or cow face pose, because when you're like this, it's like the big cows on top of, big horns on top of a buffalo. Inhale the left hand up. Exhale, bend the elbow. Inhale. Oh, sorry, I should be mirroring you. So, yeah, right hand up. And the hand comes on top of that bent elbow. And we just use a little bit of weight to draw the hand down the back. My ribs, I noticed my ribs have popped out a bit here. So I'm going to just try to inhale and get a bit taller. Draw the ribs in. And then sending that left hand out. Exhale, bring it round, flattening the hand on the back. Now, maybe we can find the t-shirt, we can pull apart on your arms, like something like this. Maybe the fingers might walk and touch, find each other. Whether we're using a scarf or a belt or a top to get the hands to reach, the main thing is what we don't want to do is for this elbow to be squashing the head. The head should be free. And we're using the tension of the hands to open the shoulders a bit more, lengthening the body. We've got this. Maybe we're exhaling. I'm finding a little fold here. Resting the body on the thighs, lengthening over the crossed leg. If you came forward, let's inhale back up and let's let go of the hands. Give the wrists a little shake out. Uncross the legs. And this time we'll go in more simply, so we'll cross the left leg in and try crossing the right over. If that doesn't work, again, we're extending that bottom leg away. And then we'll be sending left arm up. Exhaling, bending the elbow. Taking the right hand and using the right hand to just guide that elbow a little bit more vertically. Again, paying attention to what's going on in the rest of the body. And when you feel that the hand is coming towards me between the shoulder blades, or as good as it's going to get this morning, right hand away, bring it back and up. And again, using a prop or letting the fingers meet and not squashing the head. Going tall, inhaling, exhaling, maybe finding this little front fold here. Wherever we are, try not to strain here. Ideally, we're just laying the body on the leg. If we're a bit further up, make sure the neck's happy and we're not bending into an uncomfortable shape to try and force the head down. And then when you're ready, we're inhaling up, letting go of that, giving the hands a little shake out. Let the legs go, and to release the tension in the legs, we're just going to drum the calves on the mat and roll the feet in and out a few more times. So we're going to do one more seated forwards fold to complete our practice. We're going to take a really gentle, it's called Paschimottanasana in Sanskrit. It's our seated front fold. So we'll start off, we'll come towards this L shape. And if the body doesn't really want to sit in a nice L shape, fingertips to the sides. And use the fingertips to give ourselves a bit of a lift. Okay. This L shape pose is called staff pose. And so we want to imagine we have that strong, like hard wood here. Crown of the head reaching up. And as we come into our forwards fold, we're going to draw these heels in a little bit, lengthen, and see if we just walk. I'm going to bring this flesh out from under the sitting bones, try to encourage the pelvis force. See if we can find a space, maybe the knees are all the way in here, where we can lay the body onto the thighs, just like in our cow face pose. And from here, we can start to wiggle those heels forwards a little bit. So wiggle them forwards a few inches, and then just check it's still heavy on the legs. And this might be where we stop today. Notice that the hands are really soft. The hands aren't doing anything here. We see, a lot of grabbing and pulling in these forward folds. And this we want to be very soft, very melty. Again, we're just finding a place we feel really even a bit sleepy, comfy here. Gradually with the breath, maybe we inhale, lift the body a little bit. I'm using the fingertips just gently here. And as we exhale, we caterpillar the body along the legs, fingers soft, body soft, heavy on the legs. And just find your depth for today. We could be up here. That's fine because we're feeling relaxed. We're telling the body this is safe, I can do this. And the body's unwinding a bit. And maybe one day we come a bit lower. If it's there for you without strain, the forehead might rest between or on the legs. We don't want to put strain in the back of the neck. Okay, so soft hands. The hands are not doing the work. Gravity is doing the work here. Maybe the eyes are closing. And when we're ready, inhaling forwards to come up, we're walking those fingers back. Lengthen the spine. Up, 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 up. And breathe out. Soften it out. We're going to come down to our backs now. Again, planting the soles of the feet on the floor, just like before. Finding the hands rooting down. And gently, gently lowering ourselves down onto the mat. Laying the back down on the mat, laying the shoulders down on the mat. And to finish off, we'll take happy baby. So a happy baby. The main thing with a happy baby is just like in our movement in our warm up, the sacrum stays down on the mat. Now, some people have got very open hips, and their legs will come very wide, and the shins will come very upright. And I'll take the toes, and some of us we're going to be here. Okay? And that's all right. But don't roll the bum up to try and get depth. You just annoy your back. Melt the back. And worry about where the legs end up later. So the hands could be on the shins. Maybe you can reach your feet or your ankles. And here, again, I'm not pulling the legs down. What I am doing is I'm using the weight of the arms to encourage the hips to open. And as I breathe, I'm putting my attention into my inner thighs. I'm seeing if I can identify anything that's squeezing, that's tight. You might be able to soften a little. And it might only be a little. But just trying to develop that, what we call interoception, that perception of the internal mechanics of the body. And seeing if we can switch off any muscles that don't need to be switched on right now. Imagining the arms are full of wet sand, dead weight, drawing the knees in the direction of the armpits, keeping that back super, super heavy on the floor. Couple more breaths here. Let that go. Release the feet or the legs. Now we're going to take a twist before we come to our resting pose. I want to show you something first so I don't have to instruct it. When we finish our resting pose, and I'll ask you to wiggle your ankles. Just try this now. Lengthen the legs and see if you can root the ankles into the floor, the heels into the floor, sorry. And rotate the ankles and see if you can get a nice massaging feeling through the lower back by doing this. I think it's such a nice movement. I never want to lay the description on people when they've just had a lovely rest. So put that in your back pocket, and we're going to just take a supine twist here. Supine twist, just a twist on the back. And I think this often gets a bit ignored here, but what I'm going to ask you to do is to drop the knees over to the right. Let's just drop the right knee. And now I want to bring the left knee over. I want to bring the left hip over, but I want to keep the left shoulder on the mat. So what we end up doing exactly with the legs is a bit optional, but what we're thinking about is how far can we move this left hip point across while keeping the shoulder down. So it might be here. You might place the foot gently on the leg. Some people like to extend the leg and take a hold of the foot, which can feel really nice. Cross the legs. So I don't really care what this left leg does. I want you to think about the left hip point coming up towards the ceiling and the left shoulder being super relaxed. So again, it might be quite a small movement. That's okay. So we want to concentrate on good technique rather than shapes. So nicely coming into our twist, maybe with the breath finding more depth. Maybe we're just flopping out and it's totally still. That's all right. We'll come back to the center. So we're moving the left knee up, finding the left foot on the floor, the right foot on the floor, a tiny wiggle, a windscreen wiper with the knees, and then we're coming to the other side. So left knee is going to go down first, and again, we're thinking about bringing this right hip point up and across, keeping the right shoulder down on the mat. See what you can find here. Maybe the eyes close. Maybe the head rolls over to the right a little bit. If that feels good, go for it. Try and feel this relaxation across the shoulders and the upper back as we gently lengthen and twist the lower and the mid back. When you're ready, lifting that right knee first, planting the right foot, planting the left foot. One more little massage across the lower back. And we'll come to our Shavasana, which is our traditional final yogic rest pose. Now the full traditional version, legs out, arms out, hands down, back to the hands down. If we're struggling with the lower back, soles of the feet are on the floor, or we might put a pillow under the knees and rest the knees on a pillow. If we've got that handy and it feels nice. If your room isn't very warm this morning, get a little blanket or a jumper on. And maybe if you've got something to hand, you can cover the eyes. So I might pull my hoodie over my eyes if I was wearing a hoodie, or a little towel over the eyes, or a sleep mask is something that's really nice to use. It just helps us to not get distracted. Just taking a moment or two more to get yourself really comfy. Closing down the eyes. And again, starting to tune into the information that is actually flooding our senses all the time, but we turn off because we don't have time. And tuning into the weight of the legs on the floor, the heels pressing into the mat, and the hips and buttocks resting on the floor. Seeing if they could soften a little bit. And tuning into the shoulders. Maybe you can feel the shoulder blades move apart a little with the breath. Or maybe you can't. That's okay. Feeling the backs of the upper arms and forearms heavy on the mat. And the backs of the hands. Maybe the fingers are gently curled as the hands soften into the mat. Feeling the back of the head heavy on the mat. And seeing if maybe a sense of softness could spread out from the back of the head around the top of the head and ease the brow. Maybe the eyeballs feel a little heavier as you soften the eyelids, soften the temples, bring the attention to the cheeks, the back of the jaw, and the lips, letting them all be incredibly soft, letting the whole body be heavy. Deep rest, recharging you, revitalizing you. Settling down just a little deeper on the next exhale. One more layer deeper, letting go. Let's breathe a little more deeply into the body, feeling the tummy, feeling the chest, opening the mouth and sighing out this big breath, this big cleansing breath, letting the tension go. Once again, feeling the body, breathing out. We'll start to bring movement back to the fingers and the toes. We'll wiggle the fingers and the toes. And circling through the fingers and ankles. Maybe using the movement I showed you earlier. And perhaps the arms will bring themselves above the head, stretching out. Taking a beautiful deep morning stretch. Softening into the mat. When you're ready, draw the sole of the left foot to the floor and roll over onto your right side, resting the side of the head and the right arm resting the knees on top of each other, finding any other position on your side that feels really yummy. You're finding a moment with nothing in the mind at all. Energizing the left hand. Slowly bringing yourselves back up to a seated position. And we'll sit together in an easy seat. Find your block if your body's not happy. sitting at the top of our mat. Noticing any changes in the body or the mind that have arisen from this practice. And we'll close this practice chanting one sound of Om. Hands to the heart center. We'll take a deep inhale to chant together. When you're ready, inhaling for Om. Om. Gently bowing the forehead towards the fingers, keeping the spine upright. Practicing conscious gratitude. Think of something you are very grateful for right now. Fix that in your mind, saying to yourself, I am grateful for. This powerful, powerful practice takes only a few seconds. I guarantee it has amazing results. Just inhale our hands up above our head one more time. Exhale them down past the forehead, lips to the heart. If you wish to bow to your yoga, your life, the miracle of the universe, go ahead and take a little bow, forehead to the mat. Again, repeating to yourself what you're grateful for. Inhaling back up. Thank you very much for joining me. I have a Facebook group, Rob's Yoga Group. That's a nice little community that's building there. And I'm slowly building up all the accoutrements of this yogic transmission, this online transmission of yoga. So there's a website coming. This is going to be on my YouTube channel. If you want to get on my email list, you can message me your email or comment me your email. And if you've enjoyed this practice today, I'd love to hear from you. And I offer these purely on a donation basis. If you're moved to donate, it's paypal.me, Rob Voodoo. And if you don't feel like donating, that's totally fine. I really want these classes to be accessible. Thank you once again. Namaste. Wherever and whenever you are, have an amazing day. Bye for now.